Welcome to the 3-day Breakthrough 2023. We're doing it podcast style this year for some supplemental content. And during the podcast and during the 3-day Breakthrough, we're talking about physical health, emotional health, and spiritual health from a Christian perspective. I get to host it. I think most of you guys know me, but I'm Michael Yardley, and I have
Mike Sigmund.
And today we're going to talk about physical health. But before that, I got some fun questions to kind of kick us off. What is the current TV show you're watching?
I'm watching a TV show called Community.
Okay.
You heard of Community?
No.
I hadn't either, but a couple of brothers of mine really like it, so I'm trying to get into it. It's pretty goofy.
Yeah. Is Lauren watching it with you, or is it like a
just me.
Solo binge watch?
Yeah, solo. She's not a TV. She loves podcasts.
Yeah.
But I'm much more.
So she's watching this.
Yeah. She'll watch this. Yeah. No, she'll listen to this.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking about health. Favorite donut.
Favorite donut. So I traditionally like thinking Dunkin' Donuts. I think I go the Boston cream.
Okay.
But there's a donut shop that's real close by that makes a Samoa donut. It's like got the coconut.
Wow. Like Girl Scout cookie?
Yeah, Girl Scout cookie and a donut. Yeah.
Why do Girl Scout cookies cost so much?
Yeah, I don't know. Why are they so good?
So good.
Yeah.
Well, since we've talked about donuts and cookies and binge watching TV, let's talk about health. All right, I think most people know you're an athlete. You're a runner. I would say that's an understatement, but we'll get into that in a little bit. What is the why behind the what? Why do you stay active?
Besides, I genuinely do enjoy running and enjoy being out there. But I think a lot of the enjoyment is just the enjoying the physical aspect of it.
Half of people just turn that off right there.
Yeah, but I get it. I totally get that. I get that. There's lots of things that I see other people doing, and I'm like, just why? And they just find enjoyment out of it. But the results of staying active through, and in my case, it's for the most part running, is being able to be active in other areas of life.
Okay.
The quickest one or the easiest one example to give is with my kids. Just being able to not be out of breath and playing with them. Being at home, and we can play games. We did this weird, what was it, like a cat burglar thing the other night. It was wild, but we strung string all through their bedroom into the like the bathroom hallway, and then we had to pretend we were cat burglars and had to get through the string.
Okay.
And I was able to do it.
That's pretty cool.
It got tough at a couple places, and I was like, I can't bend that way, but
yeah.
But just being able to at my age to keep up with them and do that, and I'd love for that to be the case, when I've got grandkids running around. So just being able to move is a really great blessing.
It is, and it sucks when you can't.
Yeah.
Have you ever had times like in life where, I don't know, maybe it was an injury or something where like you weren't able to do that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a couple of occasions in the past I've cracked ribs, and that's a a small injury. Both of them were small breaks, but they were enough that I couldn't be active, and I'm constantly like, they would come running up to me, and I'm like, no, you can't jump on Dad right now, and that's hard to do. That's not fun to have to turn them away, especially when we can say Dad's hurt right now, but you still kind of see that confusion on their face. Like why?
Yeah, why superhero dad?
Yeah.
Or superhero mom.
Yeah, you see the little bit of a almost like a depressed, like their attitude changes really quick. So yeah, occasionally that's happened in the past, and it's not a fun state to be in.
Okay. So we obviously went through some of these notes before we did this.
Yep.
And I was talking with Erica. I forget where we were going. We were doing something, and you said something that kind of surprised me.
Okay.
Because like I run not near as much as you. It's not that fun for me the majority of the time. And I was like, man, wouldn't it be nice? This is in my head, when you're a couple miles in, or like you see somebody doing something and you're like, wouldn't it be nice if I always enjoyed the process to this? And I just assumed that, like, obviously you love going to the gym or whatever every single day. I know I don't, but you do.
Yeah.
Like, get me inside your head for a second on what it's like to regularly stay active.
Yeah. So I think that in general, and this is it's a true statement that I love running. I really do like being out there and running. But I often have this conversation with my wife because in her eyes, it almost seems like the majority of the time I'm complaining about running. That like I have a workout or a run. I'm like, I've got to run 5 miles, today before I go to bed. And then every time she's like, you don't have to. You don't have to do it. Like, you don't have to get out there. And I'm like, yes, I got to get out there. And I'm complaining about it. And truly, in those moments, I don't want to do it. I've like just roughly, I've equated it to like you could almost break it up into thirds. That a third of the time, I'm excited to get out there and run.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to be out there while I'm there. There's a third of the time that is really it's just tolerated. It's like, yeah, I got to run, and maybe I'm not excited about it, but it's not a big deal. I'll get it done.
Yep.
I'll do it because it's on the calendar. And then there's a third of the time that I don't want to do it. It's just it's a battle to get myself out there to actually do it. And you could even break that down to like within a specific workout. That a third of that workout I'm really enjoying it, and there's a third of it that like, this is awful. I want to be done. I want to stop. So there's as much as I do enjoy the activity of running. There's quite often that it's difficult to get out there and actually do it. So there's definitely a difficulty on the motivation side occasionally.
And I find the same thing. Like, it could be something as simple as running, or it could be going to the gym, playing a game of pickup basketball. Anything. And for me, the biggest hurdle a lot of times is just deciding to do it.
Yep.
There are so many times where like I'll put on my shoes. And I'll get to the edge of my driveway. And I think long and hard, like, do I really want to do this?
Yeah. There's definitely I've gotten to the point of I don't want to run, and then I break it down into just put your shorts and shoes on. Like, that's it. We're not going to run. Just do that. Just put your clothes on, and then I'll put them on, and then at that point it's a all right. I've already got my clothes on. I might as well go do it. So yeah. There's sometimes
and it works every time. Every time.
Yeah, and that's not. There's definitely occasionally workouts that attitude wins, and I don't. And I drop out and don't do it. But that just kind of adds extra motivation for the next day. When it comes up to, well, I missed yesterday. I've got to do it today. I've got to get out there.
Yeah, I know we have like a couple of. Like, we've tried different like home workout things before. Most of them are pretty awful for us, but like some of them are good. And they'll have like the coach on the screen. And I forget which one it was. I'm sure somebody who's watching could quote, but they just said, "Just show up."
Just show up.
That was the main thing. Just show up.
Yep.
And you see that process over a period of time.
Yeah. I will say, and this I know isn't an option necessarily for everybody, but things like that. You mentioned coach. That's one thing that has really helped me on the running side. Because, I have hired a coach, so I pay a coach to plan out my workouts.
You realize how silly that probably sounds to people that don't understand running?
Absolutely. Yes, I do. It was even crazy, like even my own considering it. I was like, I hear other people do this. And I should also qualify that, like, I run a lot, but I'm not an uber competitive. I'm not winning races. There's no kind of sponsorships. I'm not getting paid for any of this. Like, there's no, even hiring the coach, it's not with the prospect of possibly winning any of the races that I'll be in. So there's lots of runners that put way more time into this, way more energy, and are way faster than me, much more fit. But I know that I love being able to do some of the races that I get to run. And just having that fit like that I enjoy running. Part of what helps that is the training, and if I can lock up the training and get that solid, and a coach that was like, hey, well, let's just try this out, and it's completely changed that. And the biggest benefit is the accountability side. As crazy as that sounds, like just the fact that I have today is a great example. I have a 5-mile easy run on the calendar today. I didn't do it this morning. I do a lot of my runs at night, but I didn't do it this morning. If I don't do it tonight, I have to give him a reason as to why. Like, if I don't have a good reason, maybe it's in my nature, but I think in a lot of people, just to say that, well, I didn't do it because I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Then it's a like, I hired this guy to help me out with this.
Yep.
So if I'm not gonna listen and do the best I can, so that accountability side is pretty tremendous. Yeah.
Huge. And that can be for running, obviously, but really any form of physical fitness, goal-oriented weight loss, whatever it is.
Yeah. My brother's a big proponent, and I love when he does it. Is he'll throw something on social media, and it's he'll put his goal out there, and that's a much more public accountability.
Yeah.
And he likes to do that, but that's the only reason he does it. He's like, hey, this is my goal. I'm trying to do this, and I'm only putting it out here because now I've told the world, so I got to do it because I don't want to show that I failed.
I did one of those posts. I think it was for a triathlon last year that I did not train for at all, and he asked me about it.
David did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he was like, I saw you post this like 107 days ago. How you doing?
That's awesome. Yeah, that's probably because in his mind he's thinking, I do that all the time, and I want that accountability.
Yeah,
so he's giving it back.
I've not posted anything since then.
Just don't tell David; he'll hold me to it.
All right. So there's the fitness aspect for you. How does that work? I mean, you're married. You have 4 girls. Is this a Mike Sigmund only thing, or is this a family thing?
Yeah, it's I guess there's definitely some overlap there. It's not completely a Mike Sigmund thing. A lot of the training that I'm doing is me. Like, I've decided that I want to do this, and a lot of it does happen, like I said, late at night. Like that's one of the things, and one of the reasons that it happens so much at night is I've decided that I want to do that. I want to make running a part of my life.
Yeah.
But there's other things in my life that I don't want to sacrifice. So I don't want to sacrifice time with my kids if I can help it. I don't have the luxury of just cutting out of work early to go run.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes I'll come home, we'll eat dinner, I'll put the kids to bed, we'll read a story, we'll do bedtime, and then I'll put my shoes on and go run.
Okay.
So oftentimes it is late at night.
Yeah.
But that has just naturally translated to my wife has a little bit of joy out of running herself.
Okay.
A little bit. I won't put that in her mouth. But yeah, she does get a little bit of joy out of that, and that's definitely because of me. That wouldn't have been a natural thing.
Yeah.
And same thing, like, my oldest just signed up for the running club at school, which hasn't started yet, but hopefully she'll get to do that. So yeah, they see dad doing it, they want to be a part of it, and occasionally that's definitely happened, which is awesome. That's the best. Running becomes the best then.
Absolutely. Noelle, for her birthday, she was like, let's go on a birthday run, Dad. I'm like, this is awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, cool.
And it's not about the miles, but it's about the time together and knowing she's already creating habits for a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. For any of you that know Kinsley, she reads a ton. She's constantly reading. And she got to pick, there was after school activity options. One of them was a book club. And I thought for sure that's where she was going to point, but she said, I want to do the running club.
Wow.
I was like, yes, let's go.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I've heard it said that a lot of times with kids and family, it's not so much the things that are taught as the things that are caught. That you could say, make sure health is a priority for you, but if they don't see mom and dad doing it, like they're not going to.
Yep.
They're not going to.
For sure.
So you mentioned bedtime routine.
Oh yeah.
Because health is so much more than just staying active.
Yep, definitely.
Diet's a huge part, and we'll get into that in a minute. But sleep, Lord have mercy. This is the one that I struggle with the most. But you're much better at this than me. What is your typical routine?
Yeah.
Working dad, married, kids. How you make sure you get enough sleep?
Yeah. I mean that can definitely. I guess it's hard to not get that right every time. But what we aim for on a pretty regular basis, and I think we've done a pretty good job of being somewhat consistent with that, is as far as bedtime's concerned, the kids start bedtime at 7:30.
Okay.
So we start that process.
Somebody's
at 7:30.
mind just exploded right there.
Yeah, probably.
Watching, they're
probably
like 7:30. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had coworkers in the past that have heard, we talked about bedtime, and they 7:30. Your kid's got to be in bed by. It was something crazy, like 5:30. I'm thinking I'm not even home by 5:30.
I'm not home from work yet.
Yeah. But they also their kids had a much earlier start to school. Their school started a lot earlier. But yeah, and I know there's definitely some that 7:30 sounds early itself, but we start bedtime at 7:30, and it's a little. I mean, that's go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, put your pajamas on. So that with the 4 girls can definitely take some time. I've definitely been guilty of like right at 7:30 that we start this routine, and I'm getting them real excited. And my wife every time is Lauren is like, you've got to stop. You're getting them too wild, and they're going to come out. So yeah.
I feel like that's every dad in the nation.
I know.
There are memes out there about that.
Yeah, we get excited about bedtime, and then they get in bed and they're excited and not ready to actually lay down.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be in bed typically by like 7. I'd say 7:45, 7:50 or so is on average, or usually in bed by then. That we'll start a story.
Yeah.
And we'll do. We kind of bounce back and forth. There's always a Bible element to it, so we'll read Bible stories. That one I'm still trying to figure out. If anybody of you guys have advice or suggestions, I'm trying to balance the fact that I've got a very smart 10-year-old and a 3-year-old. They're listening at the same time. Because there's some super simple, great illustrated Bible stories that my 10-year-old is very quickly, she's going to open up her own book and she starts reading her own book, because that's not interesting to her. But she does really love, when I'm reading almost like directly the Bible, just a translation of the Bible. She kind of gets into that. So, but then, when I'm doing that, the 3-year-old is not listening at all, playing with something. So trying to balance that can be an issue, but we go back and forth. I'll read a storybook Bible. And then oftentimes there's also a non-biblical story element as well.
Okay.
We'll do some kind of, sometimes it's a chapter book, sometimes it's just a little, what are the simple reading, I don't even remember what they are, the little tiny books that it's like a Peppa Pig, sort of.
Yeah, like learn to read books.
Yeah, that's that. And then I'm usually out of the room by probably 8:15ish.
Okay.
After reading, I'll pray with them, and then be out of the room. And then there's the send the whichever one comes out of the room after I leave it. They come out I gotta go to the bathroom. I need some water. Whatever it is. So we'll play that game. But yeah, it's their lights are out usually. Their lights are out by the time I'm reading.
Yeah.
And by the time I leave the room, that's time to go to bed. So
that's good. That part right there could change somebody's life. Like
it's having that routine is should be a must. If it's not, implement that.
Well, I find that we try to crush it, but there are some days, like holidays, for example, we get so off schedule, and like 3 or 4 days into it, I can just see it on their faces.
Oh yeah,
that they're not as healthy as they need to be.
Yeah.
Because of the lack of sleep.
Yeah. We've made the decision that if they go to grandma's house, they stay the night at grandma's house, which they do often. Is that we're not going to impose our bedtime. They're at grandma's. We'll let them be at grandma's. But we do see that they come home the next day, and you can tell that they're all tired.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad that they get to have fun with grandma. But there's something to that routine.
There absolutely is. So do you guys follow a routine as well as a couple once the kids are in bed?
We try to. I wouldn't say that it's super structured. It's not something that we've, I guess intentionally put into place. But we will often. Right now, I'll say a typical is as soon as they're in bed, I go run. So I go and get my run in, and that's typically about an hour or so that I'm out running. Lauren is often listening to a podcast. Yeah. Often she's cleaning up something, and she's incredible. That sounds so selfish that I'm going to go run while she cleans.
Yeah.
But oftentimes that is what happens. And then I'll come back in, and then we're typically getting to bed probably sometimes as early as 9:30. It's not usually that early, but sometimes it can be that early. I'd say the latest, if we're still awake by like 11, then that's late for us to be up. So it's typically, I'd say we're probably in bed between 10 and 10:30.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it works well.
Yeah, well, because then the next day you're ready to go.
Yeah, much better off. Our routine, I guess, waking up is somewhere between 6 and 7. She usually is better at getting out of bed than me.
I had to lead a small devotional at a homeschool co-op we're a part of, where I was supposed to. I never actually did it because there was a couple reasons why I didn't. But I had, Sunday morning, I get up early on Sundays. That's just part of my rhythm. And then I had a late night that I had to have that night. So I was up for, I don't know, probably close to 24 hours, and then got 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I was like a zombie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm almost glad the devotional schedule got flipped, because it would have been a really rough public demonstration of the scriptures. So yeah, sleep is a good thing.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. It's very noticeable if we're ever in bed past 11.
Yeah.
And struggling there.
All right. So last thing I want to talk about, and this one gets a little bit more personal for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Is diet is that's one of the hardest ones, and that's the one that from my experience makes the biggest difference.
Yeah.
That's what I say. What abs are made in the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's just not that I'm rocking abs by any means, but you not only have had seasons of life of a clean diet, but I know there's like a personal tie to that, a family tie to that as well. You want to share a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So my dad, but it's more than just him. It's kind of extended. I guess his side of the family doesn't have great, genetic health. So there's some heart disease that kind of lives on his side of the family that he's experienced directly. He has type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
Has for over a decade, maybe 2 decades. He's had it for a long time. Wow. He's not a super old guy, and he's an athlete himself. Growing up, he was constantly playing baseball. He's still, we'll still go golf with him. He's still an athletic guy. He's still just knowing that there's more to it than just being athletic and being active.
Yep.
And I would say that he's an athletic, active guy. Maybe less now, somewhat recently. But yeah, it was two Thanksgivings ago. So a little over 2 years ago, that he had quintuple bypass surgery for his heart. They found blockages.
That's a big one.
Yeah. That's the most you can have.
Yeah.
So every valve was pretty blocked, and so he had that bypass surgery, open heart surgery. He's got the nice zipper scar now from that. So just seeing that is kind of a constant reminder on the nutrition side, especially when it comes to sugars from the diabetic. That's diabetes is a preventable thing. I know some people are more susceptible to it, but it can be prevented.
Yep.
Maybe the heart disease one is maybe a little easier to argue that that is not as preventable, but diabetes is.
Yeah.
So as much as I love the Samoa's donuts, I couldn't tell you the last time I had one. That's not a common thing. We don't. We want that to translate to the kids as well. That's not the sugar's not a easy thing to find or access in the house. So we don't have sugary drinks. Very rarely do we have sodas in the house. For the most part, as far as liquids, it's water, milk. We sometimes will let them flavor with I don't remember what they're called, the Mio, whatever those flavor.
The calorie free.
Yeah. So just so that they have something else, but they're good for the most part with water and milk. And they enjoy that. As are we, me and Lauren. I think. We just I try to stay away from that, knowing that's going to be a potentially big part.
Yep.
That's also a big motivation to the running aspect of
okay.
it, because there's lots of other sports that I would love to be involved with, but I know that the cardiovascular health that you get out of running is a great thing. So that's a constant. I'm working out my heart, and I know that when I'm running. So.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah,
and I love that your kids are learning some of those things.
Yeah, trying to make that a part of their life as well.
Yeah, we've started to have them read the back of label boxes. And because they're beyond the introductory stages of learning to read, like they can read general, and they're like, "What is this word?" And I'm like, "I don't know. No one knows what that 57 syllable word is on the back of your thing."
Yeah,
and they're starting to learn that so many of these foods are just laced with sugar and all this other stuff, and it's no bueno.
Yep, for sure,
no bueno. Well, you've hit a couple of different areas. You've hit the athletic side, the sleep side, the nutrition side. What else would you say to people that are potentially in our church family that are processing through how 2023 is going to be a healthier year for them physically?
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, not to steal, your words or thunder from the pulpit, but I kind of everything we've been talking about so far, anybody can apply to their life. It makes sense that just being physical, being active, is a great thing. We as believers kind of have an extra motivation there. What you've been speaking through as far as our body being the temple, which is in 1 Corinthians. I don't remember the chapter. I had it written down, but I don't remember.
Chapter 6.
6. Yeah. So just that. That concept is a real thing. That we're called to treat our bodies as a temple, a place that the Holy Spirit resides.
Yes.
So that's not a small thing. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So if not for the motivation of being able to move around with your kids, do it because God calls you to. That should be plenty enough reason. But yeah, that's definitely an added motivation there, that I want to be a good steward of anything that God's given me. I'm constantly trying to make that a lesson with my kids, is that our finances and the house and all of these things we have possession of because God's blessed us with them. That we get to have these. You guys have sisters because God's blessed you with kids. That you get to have those relationships. Our bodies and our physical health is no different. To know that I have 2 legs that I'm able to get up and walk on because God's blessed me with those. I'm going to take care of it.
Yes.
As if it's a gift. That's something that somebody's given me.
Yep.
Which it is.
That's good. That's really good. Good word. Good wisdom. Thanks for sharing some on that, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow morning for part 2 of our 3-day breakthrough.
What's part 2?
Part 2 is what is part 2? Mental.
Put you on the spot there.
Mental and emotional.
Nice.
Mental
awesome.
and
I'm
emotional.
excited.
Yeah. It's Mr. Brian Milby.
Awesome. Cool.
Bringing some wisdom tomorrow morning.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool.